it's Krishana. I am here with your mid-month reading. I'm sorry that these have been a bit sporadic, but they should be a bit more consistent soon. I am currently in the process of moving and making some transitions, so here we go. I decided I was actually going to start doing love readings, specifically because this month was the month of love, is the month of love. It's February, which is Valentine's month, so I went ahead and pulled cards for us. I'm a Leo as well, for this month, and so I'm going to go ahead and actually get started. There were a couple messages that I was getting, and the messages I was getting was about this sort of season, especially this particular Mercury retrograde, was a lot, or had a lot to do with our authenticity and our authentic voice and standing in our own power. I know a lot of times when we are people who have such a strong personality or a strong presence, people who are weak-minded or intimidated by, don't have a strong sense of self within them, their own selves, can often sort of come against somebody who does have such a strong voice and such a strong presence, because they personally feel threatened, although you've done nothing, This month, in regards to love, is about maintaining that authentic voice and learning how to move through the fact that you're not going to be palatable for everyone, and stop trying to be. That's not even your calling. Your calling in life is not to be quote unquote palatable for people. Your calling is to be a lion. You are a lion for a reason. If you think about, the concept of the lion in the wilderness, if you come across, a bunny rabbit, you're not really gonna blink twice unless you're afraid of them. You have some sort of fear of them. You're not really gonna blink twice. You come across a lion, however, and that's a totally different, situation. You do have to learn how to move around a lion and respect the space of a lion, in order to survive. Basically, we are the signs that people have to learn to move around. We're not actually made to move around other people. And so anyway, that is what I kind of was getting. So let's go ahead and get started with the card. First thing I have is the Lover card. And so this is really, for me, I feel this is very indicative of us being, or you being, the kind of the emotional carrier for people, because you are strong, because you're such a strong sign, and oftentimes a very strong person. A lot of times people can just kind of give you their emotional weight to carry, and oftentimes you end up in, especially when someone becomes part of your tribe, you become a person who is very much sort of tribe leader. And everyone being protected in your tribe, especially emotionally. But I feel like through Mercury retrograde, you've kind of seen where that works, and in areas of which that doesn't work, is in regards to relationships. This doesn't necessarily mean that you are, you could be single or with somebody. It's still kind of the idea of you're seeing where that doesn't actually work all the time when it comes to relationships with others. Next card we have is Sustain. And Sustain very much still speaks about the same exact thing. It's like that particular expression is not sustainable, ultimately. For you to also be able to get your needs and desires met within relationships to other people, it's not sustainable that you are kind of the only one sort of carrying people emotionally, and then other people not knowing that you actually need emotional support as well, and not really knowing how to ask for that. It's easy to kind of be someone who can't ask for that when you are somebody who's so used to being the carrier of other people's emotional well-being. Next we have the Hangman card, we have the Balance card in reverse, and we have the Separation card. So because we've decided that this is not sustainable, this is definitely not going to work, some of us have actually made a decision to kind of right the balance within our lives. You know, it has been imbalanced for a while. And so in order to right the balance, some of us have had to separate ourselves from particular situations. Now, we may have separated physically, or we've separated ourselves emotionally and sort of told people you have to sort of learn how to figure it out on your own. This is a really, actually, as disruptive as this may seem, this is yet another version of you learning how to use your voice. This is yet another version of you learning the wisdom of having a voice. The next card we have is the Priestess card in reverse, the Devil card, and the Devil card. The Priestess card in reverse is really, really speaking to, it's going to be a little unsettling. And it's going to be a little bit jarring to have to sort of recalibrate yourself and remember who you are. Especially if you've been in some sort of codependent relationship with somebody, there is this element of you having to learn how to, so for some, be on your own. For some, learn how to create enough distance within a relationship where you can be in the relationship but still maintain your autonomy. We have the Devil card in reverse, which speaks of a sense of internal liberation that is going to help you come into the new phase of yourself, the new phase of being autonomous, being not codependent. It's about your own liberation. It's about you also learning where you have to be and where you don't have to be. Sometimes it's easier. It's okay to, you know, having a voice is a really, really great thing. Sometimes it's okay to just leave the room. There is a book that I read a long time ago from this woman, and I can't remember the name of her, but she had this thing that always stuck with me, and it stuck with me for like 10 years or so. And the thing that she said that really stuck with me was, is this the hill I want to die on? It's like asking yourself in relationships to other people, whether it be romantic relationships or friendships or cohabitations or work relationships. Is this the hill I want to die on? And so really this is sort of speaking about having a voice, but then realizing when some things aren't really worth the energy and that your energy is best conserved at that moment. And that brings you into the King of Earth. Now, the King of Earth could speak to someone coming into your life that matches the vibration of your authentic self and appreciates it. This can also speak of you becoming that person, the King of Earth, you being the person who is more stable and grounded. And the stability and the groundedness has little to do with money, not as much rather to do with money and material possessions as it does having to do with the internal stability that happens within oneself. And so as you become more internally stable within yourself, you can then kind of administer into relationships like, I will put up with this, I will deal with this, and these are things that I won't deal with, or this is the energy that I won't put forth. You know, this is about coming back on our throne. Coming off our throne is the idea of I'm willing to step over my own boundaries in order to meet you. And that is not necessary in healthy relationships. In healthy relationships, it is that someone is willing not to overstep your boundaries in order to meet you, you know, and it should be the same with other people. So, I did pull a card from the bottom of the deck. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Sun card. And the Sun card is speaking of, the Sun card is in reverse. And so, you know, it's going to take us a little bit of adjusting time, okay? A little bit of adjusting, but it's actually the equivalent of you have to learn how to, you know, sometimes it can be so fierce in these sort of transformational periods. Some of us may be also dealing with some emotional wounds in the process. And so we can be so strong and so fierce in our becoming that we can sometimes lose sight of the more beautiful aspects of who we are. We still rule the heart. We still rule the home. And so this isn't about going around and just kind of slashing everybody's juggler tires, and that you don't get so weighed down by the becoming of the fierceness of you, that you forget who people are, or you start becoming too, you start thinking more so with your head than you do your heart. We are supposed to think from our heart, was to come from a place of the heart. And it's really hard to do that when you feel like your boundaries are being overstepped. It's really important to come into a better place within ourselves, a better wholeness within ourselves, so that we can maintain our boundaries, express those boundaries, and let people be where they are. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you very much for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.